So how long have you been a care manager for?
3.5 years.
Yeah.
And it was just a random application to come here. And I never really thought anything of it. To be honest, I think I forgot I applied for it. And then they rang me and they offered me an interview, and the rest is history, really.
Amazing. Wow. And what does a typical day look like for you as a care manager?
Very busy. Obviously, no 2 days are the same. Sometimes you can get a lot of paperwork done. Other times you can't get any done, and it just keeps building up and building up. And then you're worried that you're going to forget something. So there's always bits of paper all over my desk, and it's really, really bad now at the minute.
Yeah.
So it's always been, when I took over here, the care plans were quite basic to start with, and it's been something that we've gained the gold standard framework with now that I've completed them. But it's all files. Everybody's got files. I've put files, and it's so easy to forget to write something in the file. I mean, we do really well, but I'm very understanding if something hasn't been written in, because something could happen literally one after the other and you forget.
Yeah.
Where I think that's why I've always wanted to do the online care planning, because it's something that's there with you all the time.
Yeah. How many hours a day do you think you spend on paperwork, just on an average day?
I could do 5 hours easy.
Really?
Yeah, especially if I'm setting up a new care plan. Obviously, new care plans could take up to a week. It's really bad.
And is it difficult to train new staff members or new team members on the filing system that you currently have? Does it take a lot of time?
Yeah, overwhelming, because you have to remember for each different care need where things need writing, and even the staff who have been here years still have to ask me, where does this go, where does that go? They don't find it easy, because there's that much of it. There's that many different indexes to the file. So yeah, it's not easy at all.
So you're considering changing your system because it's just way too time consuming, and also things can get lost in the shuffle. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's no backup. So if we had a fire, touch wood, God forbid, we always to be told that we should have backups. So then I would have to scan every individual document onto the computer.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able to have time. That would be a full-time job in itself for at least 3 months. So we haven't got any backup. I've got the care plans typed up, because obviously I print them off. All the other stuff's all written, the professional notes and things like that. So we haven't got a second copy of them.
Yeah, it's a really good point too, that like just for safety's sake, it's like a whole other job of just protecting the files, the physical files that you have in case of it. Yeah. God forbid.
And then sometimes you might leave the file lying around because you're busy, but then you're breaching GDPR and data protection. CQC could log in and there's a file there with someone's photograph on it, and the girls don't try to do it intentionally, but it's just they're busy. So someone might have fallen whilst they were writing in that file. It just gets chucked to one side, because obviously the resident comes first.
Of course.
Then it gets left, and then it is laid around for a few hours.
Yeah.
So that it is a concern there as well.
Is there anything that you're worried about going digital? Are you worried about it being difficult to adopt a new system? Are you worried, do you have any concerns?
I'm worried that the staff become resistant, because they've always done it this way. So any change nobody likes. So I've got to have to try and performance manage them in the sense that, this is a good thing in the long run. It's going to save time. It's going to be easier. It's going to give you prompts and reminders, and it will in the long run make their jobs much, much easier. But at first I'm going to be worried that, do they miss something out? Has something not been written somewhere? And if somebody asks me a question, can I get to it easy? Can I find it? Because until I know the system inside and out, I'm not going to be able to just go, yep, it's in section 3.A, I know where that is. It is going to be a bit worrying there.
Yeah. If you're, I know you just got the phones today, but have you had a chance to play around with them at all? Or are you just kind of setting it up still?
They're quite good. They look very robust. They've got cameras and stuff on as well, which I think is going to be great for I'm hoping that we can take pictures and put them into care plans. If there's any concerns, any body maps where we think, oh, there's a bruise, let's pop that in.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've heard things that it can do, so I'm more ahead than everybody else, and I'm very, very excited because I just think it is going to be so much better.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone has an accident, okay, you could take a picture of the wound or anything, and we could send it to district nurses, and it's really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Could you walk me through the activation process in your own words? So now that you've had the phones for a bit and you've kind of been having a play around on the system, could you explain to me kind of, once you got the phones, how did you kind of progress from there with training your staff up and getting everyone to feel a bit more comfortable?
Everybody was really apprehensive at first and all throwing hissy fits and, oh my God, we're not going to be able to do it. But I downloaded the app, which was just like downloading an app on my iPhone for anything that I wanted. Sent the staff an email, and they then set a PIN number, and they then logged into the app. It was as simple as that.
And how have you found it as the care manager? How have you found the care office and the desktop?
It's absolutely amazing. Like when I log in on a morning, sometimes before, if somebody had had a behaviour or a fall, I wasn't alerted to it because the paperwork was put in a file and the staff hadn't told us, or they forgot. Where I log in onto the dashboard and it tells me all the challenging behaviours, all the falls, all the incidents. I can click a button and it tells us if everybody's having enough to drink, enough to eat. It's really, really good.
How did you find our demo session? So I know that you've had 2 sessions, I think now, just since we've been interviewing you, and I don't know if you've scheduled any more, but how have you found those so far? Were they helpful in your setup?
Like, the way I see it is, if a manager can navigate around a computer with all of the documentation on for the day-to-day with paper-based, it's going to be very, very easy to use the app because it's all in one place. The demo was very easy. It's easy on the eye, the whole thing. You don't have to click several places to get to one place. Everything's there in the correct place, and I can't say anything other than it's just really, really good, and I'm pleased that we're a part of it.
How does your staff find the app so far? You said that they weren't super pleased to begin with.
They'll still twist. Staff twist at anything. They obviously not liking it that I can sit at home and check. I think it's absolutely great. I'm sitting having a wine on a Friday night, and I can see that one of the residents need a little bit more fluids. So, I just send them a message, and it's great. Obviously, not so much for them, but it's for the residents in our care at the end of the day. But again, they do find it a lot easier than having a document.
What advice would you have for managers who are setting up the software for the first time?
Just go for it. Just go for it and dive in, because obviously at first I looked and I was like, I don't really know what this is, and just ask the questions and then delve in a little bit deeper, because it really can do an awful lot. So just go for it, dig in, give yourself a good week to get to grips with it. So it needs to be, I've did it in the middle of a global pandemic. So if I can do it now and still feel this happy about it, then you can do it in a normal week in any year, considering in the middle of a pandemic you can do it.
Would you ever go back to a paper system after having started this and trialed it?
No, I don't want to. I'd be absolutely gutted if for whatever reason it wasn't working, or if the owner decided no, he doesn't want to do it. It's definitely worth it, 100%. And I don't ever want to go back to paper. And this is probably the second week we've been doing it fully now. I'm only my second week in, and I don't want to go backwards.
You've now been using us for what, like 3 months or so, 4 months? Is that right?
Yeah. about that, yeah.
And how is your staff finding it now? Because I know at the beginning they were a bit hesitant to start it. You kind of like transitioned them onto it very slowly. How are they finding it now?
For people who have challenging behaviours, the incident reports, absolutely fantastic. The carers fill them in quickly. Mm-hmm. But before, that wouldn't have been filled in because they didn't have the time to go and find the piece of paper to write it down. And now we're getting a real accurate snapshot of what the residents are really like. Mm-hmm. So it opened up a whole new thing for us, and that's what I'm most pleased about. I would say that the ease of recording, how easy it is to just press a button and it all collates.
Did you use any of those COVID monitoring tools that are part of the app?
We have been monitoring people's temperatures and things like that, and documenting when they had the injection, because they've all been immunised now.
Oh, amazing. Wow, yeah. Congratulations.
We used it to document that. The main thing that I'm finding that is really, really, I don't know if I'm skipping the questions here because you're probably going to ask me, but it's the ease of being able to pull information. So we had an incident last week, which obviously I can't go into for confidentiality, but I was at home when that happened and I had all the information in front of us, which I could then send straight over to safeguarding or straight over to the social worker. It was all just there, which saved me a lot of time, because previously I would have to photocopy the care plans or scan them over, upload them, then, so it's so invaluable like that.
How are your carers finding the app? I know you said you've not gone fully digital, or they haven't tried everything just yet, but have they said, you found it very easy to deal with social workers and potentially the next
I think it's me telling them how good it is. They don't see anything of it yet because they just they don't get anything from it. They just put the information in, but then I tell them, like with the incident last week, I had a meeting with them and said, because of you guys documenting, I was able to deal with that swiftly and promptly, and this is exactly why we need to keep documenting everything, every little tiny thing. We've had a few new starters and they don't see any different because they're doing it all the time. But it's the older ones but change becomes normal eventually once it's been done for so long, and they'll forget all about paper-based process, hopefully. We've got to take the good with the bad, and there is no other way to document it. It's easy, and things are getting more recorded because this device is with them the whole shift.
Do you have any other advice for managers who are on the fence about going digital and might see this video and think like, maybe I could do it? Like, what would be if you had to give top 3 or something?
Just do it, because I started doing this in the middle of the pandemic, literally in the middle, bang, right in the middle of it all. And yes, it was an increased workload transferring the care plans over and things like that. But I've had no extra staffing, I've had no extra hours, and we've done it. Like I say, if I can do 21 staff members and residents, and I think I did it in a month and a half to transfer them all on. If I can do that by myself, I haven't got an admin assistant, I haven't got a deputy, there's me and then my seniors. It will improve the care that your home delivers 1,000,000%. It will improve it, and you'll have the evidence there, the evidence that you've done X, Y, and Z after an impact of an incident or a concern or a complaint. You've got a paper trail there that's readily available for if a resident's family rings you, and says something like, well, how much have they had to drink today? And you can just press a button and it's there. So it's more accurate for you, for a basis of any evidence.
Yeah, win-win for everybody, because the families, when the sectors are getting the information they need, you don't have to go, searching through file cabinets and photocopying and emailing to send it to them. It's all, everyone wins. Yeah,
it's brilliant. I would highly recommend it to anybody.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate you sitting down for another interview.